Hey, what's up everybody? Lawler here, your inside source for all things Rocket League. Today's video, we're going to be breaking down some rumors about the OCE decals finally approaching, as well as Kuxir possibly going over to Fadeaway. Also, there's some stuff about SMUG 5 finally in the works, as that will be actually airing an hour after this video drops. But before we get into that, as always, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up, as well as making sure to hit subscribe and turn on notifications. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, make sure you drop those in the comments down below. While you're down there, if you'd like to support me further, easiest way to do so as well. In the description, you can find links to all my social medias that are displaying in the bottom left of the video. With that said, let's get into it. Continuing on, now that Fadeaway has officially announced their disbandment, and most importantly, Tigray leaving the team, that leaves Freaky and Yukio either looking for a different team, whether they be trying out as individuals or staying together and find a new third. A lot of focus has been put on Kuxir 97, and when he tried out with Flakes and Swag, with Ease and Rezi, just not the results they were really looking for. So there's been a lot of hopes of wondering when Kuxir is going to make it back to a major team and what he's going to possibly be able to do. Late last night / early this morning on January 12th, when I'm recording this video, Fadeaway put out a tweet of a guy and a gif of looking at a Batmobile, and for many that know Kuxir, Batmobile is kind of his trademark. He is known as the Batmobile player outside of Fairy Peak. Now, whether or not it is true, I do not know, but kind of speculating on if it is, adding a veteran player that has a playstyle that actually works pretty dang well with Fadeaway, alongside Yukio and Freaky, where Kuxir primarily is a more defensive player and likes to sit back and kind of wait for the play to develop, while you can enable Yukio to play super aggressive and Freaky to put away shots. This actually may be a solid roster and could be a new home for Kuxir that I think would possibly actually be a pretty competitive team. A lot of the times I watch Fadeaway, there is a lot of defensive mistakes from Tigray where he tends to let things slip up that normally haven't. And Kuxir is one of the most consistent players that you've seen when it comes to the defensive side. So I do feel this could work out relatively well if Kuxir does decide to join the team. But again, it could just be bait. We don't really know. So until we see something official, which will be a while now that Regional 3 is wrapped up, we do still have a little bit of the grid to get through. I'll be talking about that in later videos. But for Europe, this split is pretty much over. So we won't know until spring split, which is quite a bit down the road. Speaking of other things that are possibly rumored or hinted at, recently the Renegades Twitter actually put out a tweet, says, "I wonder what we could be working on." And it is a picture of someone designing an Octane Renegades decal. A couple things to take from this. Personally, hopefully, we are finally going to start to see decals from other regions, not just North America and Europe, but from other top tier organizations that have been around for quite a while in the Rocket League scene. There has been talks, and I've heard from inside rumors as well, that there's a couple things coming to the esports shop when it comes to not only different decals, but also just a second wave of esports teams as well, whether it be, you know, the version 1s or otherwise. Hopefully this also includes South America and OCE. Based upon what this is looking like, it does hint pretty heavily that OCE decals for Renegades are going to be coming with. Whether that means Ground Zero and others as well, I do not know. But there is a lot of rumors that I'm hearing in whispers and murmurs from my inside sources that I can't talk about just yet, but it is one that has been asked for quite a while. So as soon as I do get multiple sources confirming it, I will put that information out into the public, but as of right now, I can't. So just as a heads up, there is more coming, hopefully from esports decals. Fingers crossed that it is a second wave of organizations that finally get the representation. If you guys didn't see, there was a person that did put out like V1 decals, and they look absolutely phenomenal. So hopefully we are going to see that push, and we are going to see more decals from other organizations come through, because I do know there is a lot that we are still missing out on. Again, fingers crossed, more organizations, OCE and SAM coverage. And one more thing I can't talk about just yet. Last but certainly not least is going to be details on SMUG 5. For those that don't know what SMUG is, it is the Salt Mine Underground. It is a tournament, a 1v1 kind of show match or grudge match tournament put on by Johnny Boy. This is the 5th iteration. And basically what it is in one day, which will actually be starting at 9 a.m. Pacific time, which is an hour after this video hopefully comes out, depending on editing time and stuff like that. But at 11 a.m. Central my time, this will end up going down. There is going to be 6 matches, and it is basically 2 players challenging each other that are somewhat on equal footing, hopefully, that end up battling it out. And the matches get more and more higher in anticipation as the matches go on. As you guys are probably watching through the trailer that is playing right now, the first one up is going to be Chelsea and Kia, both Space Station Gaming content creators and friends in the Rocket League scene. You've also got Firewall and King Ranny. You've got Ahmad and Asalan. You then have Scrubkilla versus Though. Even though these two kind of built up their rivalry for more of a entertainment purpose, it will be fun to see them play together, obviously with being teammates. Obviously with them being former teammates as well. It'll be fun to see how this one develops. You then have Beast Mode versus Chronic. Beast Mode, obviously one of the young guns that came in from Kansas City Pioneers, a very talented player going up against Chronic. Another player, very young, who many are surprised hasn't been picked up yet, to be completely honest. It'll be interesting to see on how this one develops. And kind of the cool thing about this tournament altogether is what 1v1 has done for the scene. For those that don't realize it, 1v1s pretty much are the place where everybody goes to look to find a new up-and-coming talent. A lot of the new talent that has come into the RLCS in the last 2, 3, 4 seasons has been from the 1v1 ladder, unless they were already like a really good rank X player in the first place. So I don't know if enough credit is really given, but I'm going to give it to Johnny Boy, where if it wasn't for Johnny Boy's efforts in the 1v1 scene, I don't think we would see the level of talent and the amount of, I guess, exposure to the individuals that we get to see because of his efforts that he puts into the 1v1 scene. And it's awesome to see. And I think the recognition from Psyonix is finally there, where they're helping fund with the prize pools and allowing him to do, I think there's 8 Salt Mine Undergrounds that he's doing total. But it's a good way to find new talent and foster new talent and give a place for these people to make a name for themselves. The last in the premium match is going to be AJ versus Kinsey. Both very talented. I expect AJ to do what AJ does best. One of the more underrated pros in his individual mechanics, but should be an exciting one at that. Again, if you guys would like to know any of this information, it can be found in the description down below. But ultimately, it will be starting at, again, 9 a.m. Pacific time. So make sure you tune in and cheer on your favorites as these matches go underway, because they are going to be very entertaining. Again, if you would like any more information on any of the stuff that I have brought up, you can find that in the description with links down below. But that is going to wrap it up for this video. If you guys do have any questions, comments, concerns, as always, you know where to find me on all my social medias, which are linked down below. But if you guys enjoy the content individually, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, all that fun stuff, and I will catch you next time. Peace.
The moon is getting warmed by the sun, right? And the moon is like a rock, or like iron. So technically we're on a grill. You know, the rock is warming us because we're like on a grill. So we're basically a salad with like water and stuff. It's actually a conspiracy theory I'm working on.
You should probably stop working on it. I got that.